Yo, what's good people, it's Cactus, and in today's video I'm going to be fixing subscribers beats. So I asked everyone to send me unfinished projects, and they're mainly projects that people either couldn't really mix properly or they just didn't know where to take it. So I'll be going through them, I'll point out anything that I think could be improved, and then I'll show you how to fix it. If you want to get involved in these videos, then make sure you're either part of the Discord, which is in the description, or you're following me on Instagram at jcactusmusic, because I'll randomly make posts and then ask people to send stuff in. But yeah, a lot of people have been asking for these videos. I've done one in the past, but I think I need to make it a regular thing. But yeah, let's get straight into it. Alright, so the first one is from Prod by Elias. He sent me this project, so I'm just gonna have a listen through it, and then I'll pick out anything that I noticed straight away and then show you how I'd fix it. So even that intro, it just sounds a little bit weird, so I might just stretch that into place, maybe add some reverb, or I personally wouldn't even have it, but I'll see. Instantly I'm hearing the rim is way too weak. The hi-hats as well, I'd definitely pick a different one. And the 8-weight is off as well. So I'm gonna come up with a new pattern for the 8-weight and kick. Alright, so instantly the intro, I'll just fix that quick. I'm just gonna bring it in time. I'm just gonna set this to stretch so it doesn't change the pitch. Hold Alt, click and drag, reverb that I always go to. So what he's done with the 8-weight is, because it's in B minor, he's just used B every time. And sometimes that can work, but if you listen in the actual sample, there's a synth bass, so it should be easy to follow. He's filtered it out a little bit. So for anyone that doesn't know how to work out where the 8-weights need to go, if you're a beginner, I'd strongly recommend going to scale highlighting and then just selecting the scale. In this case, it's B minor. And the best way is to use your ear. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, and there are different ways of finding it out by going to Edison and working out what the notes are, but that isn't always 100% right. You just want to train your ear. So have a listen to the melody and hum along to it, work out where the bass is going. So hum the first one and then decide if it's going down or back up, and then work out where the notes are. So the first one should be so yeah, it's starting on B. So it's going down. Next one is here. So it's going right down. So it's going up. And then bring it back down to test it. See how that sounds right now? Because there's a synth bass in the sample, we need to cut that right out if we're adding an 8-weight. So because of the chord progression, we're using notes like A and G. And for some reason, especially in drill beats, whenever you're using them notes, the 8-weights just sound dead. So C minor could work. Sometimes when I go down to these lower notes, I might just pitch them up an octave with slides and see how it sounds. And then with slides, again, I'm just hearing something in my head. I find the pattern first and then add the slides on top. And all I did with the 8-weight is turn it up. I'm just going to reset that because we don't really need a soft clipper on there because it's going to go on the master. And before I do anything else, let me just show you the master. I guess these are just things that he has on in case he needs to change them, but I'm going to get rid of these. I don't really add anything to my master apart from a soft clipper or a classic clipper. So I had a limiter on there, a soft clipper plus Maximus. I think for a beat, it's just too much on the master channel. All right, let's see what kick he's using. So the kick itself is okay. It's just too weak. I don't like to have everything on the kick. I just keep the clipper on the master channel because otherwise you're clipping it twice. You're clipping it once here and then once in the master. I think all we need to do is just boost the kick. Come down here, go to boost. So even that to me sounds a lot better than what it was. You could probably still take away some of the highs. All right, let's have a listen to the hi-hat that you chose. I think the actual sound, I just don't like the actual sound. It's more of a trap hi-hat, so I'm just going to replace that with one of my counter snares, I think. So my favorite one is this fried one. I like this driller one too. Actually, before I do that, I need to change the pattern of the kicks to match the 808. So I'm just going to copy the 808 pattern, bring it into the kick, paste it in, and I'll get rid of the slides first. Press Ctrl and A, then Alt and K. Alright, let's bring that cat snare in, see how it's sounding. And if you look, he's taken the highs out of the hi-hat. Usually I boost them, so I'm going to remove that. Much better, but this is the room. I think I'm actually going to pick a different one. So something sharp like this. And actually with the counter snare, what I think I might do is just add a tiny bit of delay. And this is mainly just to give it some movement, so I'm going to keep it real subtle. So this is without. And then with. I think he's added a violin. Need to pitch it up to C. Might pan it a little bit more to the right. It's actually a viola, but I think I might change that to a violin. See how this sounds. And I'm going to pitch that up a full octave. Just so it's got its own space. It started to sound a little bit busy. I'm going to open up this, says guitar, but I think it's piano. Right, so the actual melody is quite nice, but if you look at it, the velocity is the same all the way through. And I just want to make it sound a little bit more realistic, because for someone to play like that, it's like they were just pressing the keys like... Do you get me? And people don't really play like that, so I'm just going to make it a little bit more realistic and just randomize the velocity. I might even bring some of them slightly off grid, and maybe some of the notes could overlap. Yeah, there we go. And he's using a one shot for the sub, but I'm going to change it to one in Omnisphere. The one that I've got in mind is called Crackle Bass. I think it will fit nice in this track. Round about there. I just want a little bit of that crackle. And I actually like the filter that he's added, but I want it on the bass as well. So I'm going to copy the preset, bring it onto the master, make sure that it's above the clipper. And now I'm going to create automation clip. And to make sure it's the same as the one that he used, I'm going to bring this down here and then go into love filter here. I'm going to copy the state, paste it into this state, and it should be the same. All right, so these are the chords that he's added. And to me, they just sound off. They don't really fit the progression of the samples. So I'm actually just going to leave them out for now. Then the other effects that he's added, I just need to bring them up a little bit. All right, so let me think about arranging it quick. So I'll keep that in because I think he just wanted a unique intro. For the pre-hook, I'm going to take out the brim. And maybe these two. I just want things to subtly come in. So just keep that last one in. Keep the piano out. Just use that for a bridge maybe. Right, and after all this, I think I want to pitch the melody back down to B. Alright, so we're dropping into the verse now. So I want to get rid of the counter melodies. I think I'm just going to alternate between the two 808 patterns. I'd say the filter could go just before the hook. So I'm actually just going to copy this hook, bring that over there. And this time I will have the violins in both. And then one last thing I'm going to do is make a third 808 pattern and just go a bit crazy with the slide. So this is only going to come in every now and again. Okay, so this is what it sounded like before. No volume change, no nothing. This is just how it was sent to me. So the bass notes were off. And I felt like the hi-hat was a little bit weak and the snare. And the count melody was just a bit too stiff. The 808s were off. And this is what it sounds like after. So I'll talk you through everything that I've done. So that little bit was the first thing I changed. The notes of the bass are right now. The pre-hook I simplified. And I just made the drop slightly different with the chops. New 8-weight pattern, new counter snare. And now the strings come in. And then into the verse. So I've got a few different 8-weight patterns. This one coming up is the last one. And then we got the bridge again. So I decided not to have that counter melody everywhere. I don't think it needed it because the melody is quite busy. Alright, so the next one was sent to me from ST, another one that's used a loop from Looperman, so you guys must be feeling Looperman. So instantly to me, I think the intro is a bit too long. I don't think it needs a full 16 bar intro, and I definitely want to change that hi-hat. Okay. Yeah, I want to change that snare. And these are the vocals, some of my vocals from the beat battle. So I think he's got 2 grind bass and a normal 808. Alright, I think I know what to do with this. Definitely changing some sounds. I think a snare like this, quite distorted, will sound good for this one. Or maybe this one from my old kit. Let's try this hi-hat instead. Yeah, I think that works better. For the kick, I'm going to take the soft clipper off it because I've got it on the master. For the 8-weight, I'm bringing the notes up. And I'm going to change the envelope settings as well. Alright, so I've just changed the 8-weight for the sighting one in my pack. I don't mind that. Alright, so I need to make this pattern a bit less repetitive. So I'm just copying that across. Maybe make that in 2. And then maybe add some slides here. So I'm going to keep the first pattern quite simple like that. I'm going to cut some of the lows out of this grind bass as well, so it doesn't mess with the 8-weight. And I'm going to add some reverb to it as well. And then for this one, bring these across again. I might change the grind bass as well. Actually, I could probably leave these quite low, but pan them. Alright, so I'm just changing the second grind bass as well. I'm just making the pattern longer so I can change it a bit. I think I'm going to save that for this section and just have it alternate. So one in this one, and then it can change to this one. Alright, and I've just swapped the grind bass for number 5 from my previous kit. So with the second grind bass, I pretty much kept it how we had it. With the hi-hat pattern, I just want to get rid of this one. The kick, I'm just going to boost it a bit. And I'll just need to change the pattern because I've changed the 808, but I'm also going to change the snare pattern after that. So I've just changed the counter snare and I've used the same one that I used in the last beat, but I think it works a lot better. And I might even change the snare. Let me try this one. Yeah, I think that fits better. All right, let's add some perks in there as well. Get the bounce going. Alright, and I think it needs another instrument for some variation, so I'm going to add a violin. Alright, so another thing that I want to add is this Vox from my drum kit. It's the chanting Tatum one. So I've pitched all of these to C, so I just need to pitch this up to D sharp, so 300 cent. And then I think in some parts of the beat, I just need to brighten it up a little bit, so I'm going to use a pad. And now I'm just going to arrange everything. I think for the intro, we don't need two of them. It's just going to make it too long. Because I think save the violin for later in the verse. I'm going to add a little delay to this perk as well. And just put that in ping pong mode. And then the grind bass can come back in there. All right, I'm actually going to make this verse a bit longer. All right, so for this bit, I'm going to have a bit of a bridge here again. And I want the vocals here as well. And I'm actually going to make it a full verse. So I'm going to extend this. And then for this bit, I'm going to go back to this 808 pattern just for some variation. And then the last finishing touches are just some breaks in the drums. I'm just going to copy this over. And then that should be it. And then for this one, I'm going to add this riser, bring the volume down. I've cut all of the drums here. Again, this is just like a bit of variation. I might actually do that in the first hook as well. Right, and I think just for the drop, can add love filter just here, actually around about there.
That's cool.
All right, so this is what it sounded like before. So I didn't really do much with the melody. The loop was already pretty cold. But as you can see, the intro was way too long. And I just wasn't feeling that hi-hat. Not for a drill beat anyway. And this needed a lot of variation. The pattern wasn't too bad. It was just some of the sounds were weak. That was the main thing. And this is what it sounds like after.
Cactus. AOST, that's cool.
Drops hard. So I changed quite a few of the sounds. The grind bass pattern and the 808 pattern. Added the pads. So I think it was mainly sound selection for this one. In the verse we've got a blend of his pattern and my pattern. The vocals new as well. And And then the second grind bass comes in. And the pad which I added. And then the violin for the bridge. I wonder what the filter sounds like there. Yeah, perfect. Oh, this beat turned out crazy. So I hope you liked the video and I hope you were feeling the beat. If you want to be part of the next video, then make sure you're either part of the Discord, which is in the description, or you're following me on Instagram at jcactusmusic. I don't know how often I'll be doing them. I might make it a mini series, but when I do announce them, it's always in my Discord or Instagram. So keep a lookout for them. Once again, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.